The problem of human trafficking today is one of semantics. There's a cliche that the oldest profession is prostitution, where I would actually say that the oldest profession is human trafficking. Simply put, human trafficking is commercially benefiting from the labor or endeavors of another person through force, fraud, or coercion. Most sex trafficking victims in the United States are American citizens. You see all ages, genders, socioeconomic backgrounds. It affects everyone from every walk of life. And the really scary thing is that the average age for a sex trafficking victim in the United States is 12 to 14. And yet, it goes on all around us and we don't pay attention. Sometimes they are abducted, sometimes they are lured through promises, through blackmail, through social media. Sometimes it's because of just desperation of the situation. Many American sex trafficking victims in the United States initially are violated by someone right in their own family or someone that they know. It's not just something that happens in other countries. It happens right here, and it affects hundreds and thousands of people right here in the United States. I would say the number one problem facing our efforts to stop human trafficking is the current law situation and education. The UN addressed this issue back in 2000, but unfortunately the United States and individual states have been slow to take up the cause and put definition to it and back up those new legal confines with prosecution. So unfortunately, because of that, the victims are often classified, treated, and convicted as criminals instead of being treated as victims. And trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Unlike drugs or other consumable products that the trafficker or the dealer has to purchase and resell once, a human being can be sold over and over and over. Social media has also become a preferred means for traffickers to lure their victims. They can get on there and find potential victims that they can build relationships with until the child feels safe and actually willingly walks into the trafficker's path when they decide to meet. Another problem that we have is the whole issue of aftercare. That we now have laws that identify traffickers and identify the victims, but we have very few aftercare homes that once someone is rescued, they have very specific needs for therapy and restoration. There are so few beds in the United States. Spotting human trafficking is tricky because while it's right out in plain sight, often in the United States, unless you know what you're looking for, they can walk right by you or interact with you on a regular basis and you would have no idea. So some of the things that you can look for are that if you do try to converse with them, often they would have trouble making eye contact with you, or very scripted and rehearsed answers to any personal questions that you might ask. Usually not very socially engaged because they're fearful of being found out. The appearance of a boyfriend who's older, or a handler or controller that kind of stays close and keeps an eye on them and watches them. It could be very long or unusual work habits. They maybe can't come and go at will. Could be bruises, could be anything just out of the ordinary, that when you really start to train your mind to think about trafficking, some of these things jump out at you. But a lot of it is just being aware of what's going on around you. Once you start to get informed and become aware, you naturally want to move on to getting involved. So start with educating yourself. Find out what's going on in your community. Read. watch films and movies and documentaries, Google the topic, and inform yourself as much as possible. This atrocity has got to stop, and the only way that's going to happen is if we wake up in America and get educated and get involved.